Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 815 Exchange, and I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336, once again for episode 153 of the 815 Exchange. And well, we got stuff to talk about from the fight game. We had UFC 290, we had USA's Outdoor Track and Field Championships, we had the MLB Draft. We also have Wemby making his debut and the rest of the rookies. We have plenty to talk about. Plenty to talk about today, so it should be a very big episode of the 815 Exchange. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, everything you're looking for, everything you desire in this world can be found in the description. Whether that's timestamps, you want to hear me talk about combat sports here right after the intro, or you want to skip to, I don't know, USA's, hear me talk about Sha'carri Richardson, Gabby Thomas, Sydney Mclaughlin, and co. Feel free in the description along with all my social medias, that and in the outro. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get this show under the road, starting, of course, with combat sports. And it's really UFC mostly, but we did have Boots Ennis, so I will give Boots Ennis his flowers at the end of this. So it's combat sports. But anyways, Volk. Alright, this was headlined, of course, by the featherweight title match, I guess unification match between the, no longer, I guess I cannot say undisputed, but the, at the moment, UFC featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski, and the interim featherweight champion, Yair Rodriguez. Of course, Yair won that title the day that Volk lost to Islam. His first loss in the UFC. But the best fighter on earth, his name is Alexander Volkanovski, alright? The pound-for-pound king's name is Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, Australia might as well be Macedonia, because that is where the great lives, that is where the great is from, that is where he hails, that is where he reigns, and he is yet to be beaten in battle. Volk is still Volk. Alright, Yair didn't really have too much for him. Not to say anything against Yair. It's just Volk is the featherweight GOAT. The greatest to ever do it at 145. The best. The best. Ever. He cannot be beat. He can't. We have seen contender after contender. We've had prime Max Holloway, and it just won't happen. He's him. He's the best. Ever. And soon we need to start talking about Volk as one of the greatest ever, regardless of weight class. I mean, we can already talk about him like that. He is him, as I tweeted out. Volk is him. He is him. He had a very him-esque performance against Yair here. Whether it was taking him down, whether it was with a broken arm, I believe, or at least not a broken arm, but he has to have surgery on his arm. I don't know if it's like a full break or like a minor break. I forget exactly, a minor fracture. But anyways, arm compromise didn't matter, still countered, and then he beat Yair down on strikes. Okay, it was a very Dagestani-esque performance for Volk. It felt very like Khabib peaking his powers, just mauling people. That's what happened in this fight. Volk is him, pound for pound king. Not up for debate. Best in the game. Co-main event, of course, was 125. Brandon Moreno. Alexandre Pantoja. Of course, this has a bunch of history behind it. Pantoja up 2-0 on the series. And Brandon Moreno just, we'll talk about beating Moreno very soon. But anyways, Pantoja beat him in Tough Enough. Beat him before Moreno got cut originally. So here was technically the third fight, but it's listed as the second fight, of course, officially. So how would it go down? I said it was going to be a banger last week. And of course it was a banger, because that's all that, to his detriment, that is all that Brandon Moreno does. That is all that he does. Is a banger. It's a banger. It's a fight of the year candidate every single time. And we had another fight of the year candidate here. Besides that fifth round was a little bit lacking when Pantoja just kind of got on his back and just kind of held on for dear life. Because, you know, he had it in the bag because he had won 4 rounds. Or, excuse me, 3 rounds. But man, Moreno, to his detriment. I mean, electrifying fighter. An electrifying fighter. But he always gets himself into these. He's the most beatable. He's the best beatable fighter. Like, he's the perfect solution to what was almost a dead division after Mighty Mouse. What they were about, Dana was about to kill the division. And now look at it. Fight of the year, every single title fight. One of the greatest arguably, I don't know how many quadrilogies there's been. Probably the greatest quadrilogy in the sports history. And now you got another quadrilogy technically coming up between Pantoja and Moreno. Moreno is just printing these out. It's insane. It's insane. Nearly had Pantoja out, beat. Looked like he had this at certain moments in this fight. But Pantoja was able to get him on these takedowns, which were huge. Was massive. The ground control won him this fight, even though Moreno ended up beating him on significant strikes. The ground control, the takedowns. Moreno has to correct that in the rematch, because I would assume there'll be a rematch. It should be a rematch. But yeah, that was just, an absolutely amazing fight. Pantoja, congratulations. He's the new champ at 125. But yeah, just absolute madness. Absolute madness at flyweight. It's just chaos. Brandon Moreno. Volk is the pound for pound best. Moreno might be pound for pound most entertaining at this point. Up there with Michael Chandler. But yeah, anyways, that's how that went. But that was just, the cap off of all of the upsets we had on this card. This was arguably card of the year. Dricus du Plessis versus Robert Whittaker. Now, DDP was not expected to win this fight. DDP, this was the number one contenders for middleweight, as I said last week, Everybody was like, yo, Raw. It's been basically the same way it's been Volk, Max, everybody else. It's been, well, I guess until Yair beat Max. But it had been Izzy, Rob, everybody else for a very long time in the middleweight division. So not a lot of people expected, especially after the way Rob beat the brakes off of Marvin Vettori, I believe, in his last fight. Not a lot of people were like, yo. Not a lot of people were like, yeah, DDP, he's going to put up any type of a fight. None of that. But that was not to be on Saturday night. That was not to be, because DDP knocked out Robert Whittaker. KO'd Robert Whittaker. Now, he didn't put him cold, but he shook him, then beat him down on strikes. So technically that's a TKO. But anyways, in 2 rounds, he dispatched Robert Whittaker. 2 rounds. Similar to what Izzy, I guess, did in the first fight. Looking back. But, and it's not even like, Rob it's not even like DDP looks like he has this specific skill that just looks like it's better than anything else, or he has this specialty. He's an awkward type fighter. He's not particularly fast. He was getting tagged, but he's very strong. He's very, very, very strong. He's big, and that style, the unorthodox style, just kind of, I don't know if it just ruined Rob's timing or caught him off guard, but Rob he was susceptible, and when he got hit, he got rocked, and then that was that. That was that. DDP pulls off the upset, shocks the world. Of course, they bring Izzy in after he looks like an anime, of course, because his life is an anime, as he stares down DDP from outside the cage. Then they bring him in. And of course, if you didn't know, I guess now you know. And I know a lot of people took issue to it, which I felt it was one of the more cringe things that Izzy has done. I didn't really, it was how, I think the N-word thing was excessive. But anyways, he comes in and he does the whole spiel. Listen, if you didn't know, now you know. DDP and Izzy do not like each other. Besides Alex, so I guess he's neutral with now, DDP is probably along the list of his, great enemies, of people he just does not like, alright? DDP said Izzy's not African. Izzy took very heavy offense to that, so we will see. We will see. Izzy gets what he wants. He wanted DDP. He gets DDP. We will see what happens there. They need to run that in Africa or in Oceania. It needs to happen. But yeah, congrats to DDP. He's legit. Dan Hooker, the Hangman. He went blonde. He got some tattoos. He got inked up. Jalen Turner busted him open in round 1, but then the Hangman came back. The Hangman said, I'm not finished. I'm not done. This game ain't over for me. It's not done yet. He came back and was one of the best 3-rounders I think we'll see all year. Dan Hooker split decisions Jalen Turner. It was an electrifying fight. Yeah, blood sport. Absolute blood sport. Hooker is a savage. Both of them were savages. I mean, similar to Pantoja and Moreno, just savages. All right, it was a savage 3-rounder. Hooker lost round 1, then came back strong in round 2 and 3. You know, shook up Turner, had him looking like he might knock him out at certain points. Turner had his great points. It was a tremendous fight. I don't really know if anybody really lost anything from that one, but Hooker definitely gained something as he got back. Not necessarily got his leg back because he hadn't faced Turner before, but he got that confidence back. It felt like he felt like the Hangman again. So yeah, shout out to Dan Hooker. He gets it done. Other stuff that happened here on UFC 290. Bo Nickel KOs Val Woodburn on 1 week's notice. No surprise there. Nickel looks like he's a threat at middleweight because he looks like he might have hands. And he's probably the best wrestler in all of the UFC. No exaggeration. If it wasn't for David Taylor, who's an Olympic gold medalist and an all-time great, Bo Nickel would be on Olympic teams or World Championship teams. But yes, Bo Nickel doing Bo Nickel things. No surprise there. Ruthless Robbie Lawler retires on top with an under 1 minute KO of Nico Price. That and the Nickel KOs were both contributed to the under 1 minute record for KOs that was set on this card. Like I said, one of the greatest cards of the year. And yeah, Robbie takes out Nico. Good to see the Ruthless one, future Hall of Famer, go out on top. A lot of times in this sport, we see them go out, you know, on their shield, go out on their back, go out unconscious. You know, don't go out on their terms. Robbie got to go out on top. So, yeah, love to see that. Happy for him. Future Hall of Famer. And now, before I end off this segment, moving quickly to boxing. Not too much to talk about, but Boots Ennis did fight the future welterweight king. Took out Romain Villa, 10th round KO. Clinical performance again, Boots. I mean, he's right there. It's like Spence, Bud, and then Boots. He's next up. Whoever goes undisputed, unless they do a rematch, which is possible, I think Boots has to get next. I mean, he has to get next. It is his time. He deserves a crack at the best, and he's one of the best. Now, quickly, USA's we'll do MLB Draft. How about that? No. You know what? I'll do you one better. I normally drop this at the back end, but you know what? You know what I'm going to do for y'all, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to the NBA. And we're talking about the Summer League. We're not going to let you wait. We're getting straight to what you want in this episode, early and often, okay? Victor Wembanyama had the worst game I think I've ever seen Wemby play in his first game in the Summer League against the Hornets. Probably the worst game I've seen Wemby play. And I've seen Wemby play quite a bit over the past couple years. Okay? Wasn't really worried. As I told my friends, he showed the flashes, but he never really looked comfortable. His conditioning looked off. The shot just wasn't falling. It is what it is. And the Spurs really did him no favors. That team is terrible. Okay, that is by the way, I have seen some there has been some atrocious. I get that it's Summer League, but there has been some bad, horrific basketball played in the Summer League so far this year. I'm not going to lie. It's been hard to watch sometimes. But anyways, Spurs Summer League team also sucks, so it doesn't really help Wemby. But you know what? Wemby came back with a vengeance. Now, they lost to Portland without Scoot Henderson, who had a great game 1. 16-5-5 before he got, or 16-6-5 before he got injured with the shoulder injury, so they're keeping him out, as you should with the number 3 overall pick. Michael DeVoe had 29 in this game. He was great. Former Georgia Tech, former Montverde guard. He was great, looking like he's going to make that team. They got a bunch of guards. That's a way to stand out, dropping 30. But Wemby, let's talk about Wemby. Wemby was much better here in game 2, looked much more settled. They did a much better job, as much as you can say, because they still didn't do a great job of it, helping him get to his spots and him just kind of settling in and doing what. He wasn't perfect. He had his moments where it was like, you know, he has to get better at that or he needs to get stronger. But for all intents and purposes, Wemby was great. 27-12, 3 blocks. Wemby was Wemby. Whether it was, you know, tipping the ball to himself and dunking, hitting a 3, crossing people over, the blocks, he did it all. It was Wemby. at his finest. He honestly would have quite a few assists, by the way. His playmaking has been much better than I expected. Unfortunately, his teammates are hot garbage. Malachi Branham, even though you played a great game 1, you did go 1 for 17, which is insane. In a summer league game, 1 for 17 is insane. I think he had a 15% true shooting percentage for the. It was the worst shooting game I've ever seen in my life at any level. I have never heard of somebody going 1 for 17. That is dreadful. I'm not saying it's the end of days for Brandon, but that was terrible. Anyways, Wemby, calm ourselves. Does need to get better. The shot needs to be refined. The whole bag needs to be refined. Not that he doesn't have a bag. He does. But the bag needs to be refined. The defense looks like it's already there with everything he can do. Guarding on the perimeter, being a rim protector, it's as expected. And his playmaking's a lot better. He's got to get used to his size. He's got to get bigger. You know the things we know with Wemby. But number 1 overall pick, doing number 1 overall pick things. Houston took on Detroit, which was supposed to be Thompson twin versus Thompson twin. But I think Amon sprained his ankle, so he was out. Asar played, but Detroit is doing him no favors. However, Houston won 113-101 thanks to the Summer League MVP through 2 games, which is Jabari Smith. Now, I know I did that short about Keegan Murray and Jalen Williams, but Jabari Smith is playing like he ain't supposed to be here. And he's supposed to be here, which he also said he's supposed to be here. And it's okay for him to be here. But he's playing like he's not supposed to. I mean, he has been him. Bari looking like Auburn Bari through 2 games here in the Summer League. He had 38, 7, and 6. He was talking crazy about James Wiseman, who had 17 and 10 in this game and has been solid. But by the way, this is his 4th year in the league as the number 2 overall pick, and you're still in Summer League. That is not a great look. Anyways, Bari talking crazy to Cade, to Wiseman. He's him. All right. The Rockets' young core looking amazing. Tari Eason also hooping 26. Cam Whitmore, had 21. Had 21. He was a lot more settled in this game compared to game 1. So, yeah, the Rockets' young core just looks great, man. They look really, really good with Ime as coach. I got a lot of high hopes for Houston. Not that they're going to be like a contender or even probably make the playoffs, but I really want to see how that young core grows because they got a lot of special talent there. They feel like OKC 2 years ago. I think I've said that before on this podcast. Certainly said it to friends, but yeah, they really, really promising. Detroit is too. Darren, 21 and 10. He's been very good here in the Summer League. Jaden Ivey needs to learn to pass the ball, which is a crazy thing to say as he had 10 assists in this game. But his playmaking and decision-making needs to be better, and he needs to not jack as many shots. Just needs to be better decision-maker. He just does. He's not a point guard. Don't try to make him a point guard. I don't think they will. But he needs to be a better decision-maker for him to be a higher-level player. He had 22 and 10, though, in this game. But Houston, B. Miller. That's B. Miller. B. Miller, B. Miller, B. Miller. Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller. Wow. I don't really have anything really good to say about, you know what, his playmaking has been better. The playmaking has been better than I expected. Him and Wemby. How about that for the top 2 picks? But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Brandon Miller went 4 for 18, 0 for 7 from 3 against the Lakers yesterday in Summer League action. Castellan for the Lakers, former Florida center, had 21 and 14. He looked good. But Brandon Miller, number 2 overall pick, has been not great. I mean, it's not really his fault. Again, the Hornets Summer League team is dog. But Miller has not been great. To put it very lightly, he has not been great. It is Summer League, though, and you got to be patient with these young players. But he's looking more like NCAA tournament Brandon Miller rather than regular season Brandon Miller, which is not good. It's not good. However, not great guard play, and it's the Summer League, so not in the days. But yeah, B. Miller has not been a killer. We will see if he can get any better. That is terrible taste in nickname, by the way. I just thought about that. I apologize. But Brandon Miller, just not that guy. He's not that guy right now. And with the way that Scoop played and Amon Thompson played, that's a yikes. All right, entertainment, which is, I'm going to be honest, it's literally just Secret Invasion. There was nothing in music this week. All right, which I guess we kind of needed because my playlists were getting very backed up. And there's still albums I haven't listened to that I want to listen to. So it's just, we needed a little bit of a break week for music with everything that's going on. I guess I almost said Astro. My God. Utopia is coming from the pyramids of Giza. which is that's some stuff you think of, which makes sense for Trav now I think about it. That's something you think of like as a kid and you're like dreaming, yo, what's the coolest place for me to have like an album party or an album release party? The Pyramids of Giza. Why not? I don't know what that has to do with Utopia, but that's what Trav chose. And you know what? It's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. But anyways, the only thing we have in entertainment this week is Secret Invasion. Gravik is him. I mean, he's been him. The same way we said Volk was him earlier in this episode. He is him. He is him right now. Alright? Gravik is looking like a great villain. Now, I don't know what y'all talking online or what y'all saying, but Gravik, he's been doing it for me. He's been a very good villain, a very compelling villain. I want to know more about his motives and what he's doing, but he's been a very ruthless villain, alright? Because he just murked Gaia. Now, I don't know if Gaia. I don't know if Gaia is actually dead. As we've seen, that Gravik himself in that meeting with Talos, by the way, the one-on-ones between characters have been great in the show, showed that he gave himself power so he can regenerate. I wouldn't be surprised if Gaia also gave herself, something similar, or she also has powers, so she could have survived that. But at the end of this episode, as far as we know, she got murked. Talos got found out. Vara seemingly has betrayed Nick, though then again, Nick kind of betrayed Vara, left because he got the first time. The second time, that's on you, Nicky boy, because you just left and you didn't get snapped. You just went up. You just went up to space and you was just there and left your wife alone. And with your seemingly adopted son now wreaking havoc, this is kind of your fault, Nick. It's kind of your fault. And with them having superpowers and you destined to do this on your own, this is looking very susceptible. It also looks like Rhodey is in fact a Skrull, which is the least surprising thing about this show so far. Because literally everybody predicted that James Rhodes was going to be a Skrull, or at least the one that's in government. Which means, where is the real Rhodey? Because that means somebody's had his face. Do they have him locked up somewhere? What's going on? Anyway, Secret Invasion episode 3, very good. Shortest episode so far, but still a lot in there. Still very good. I've enjoyed it a whole lot. Been a really, really good show. Really good show. Love Island, to also say for entertainment. Love Island this year, season 10? It's been the goods. It's been the goods. If you know, you know. You know. MLB Draft, before we talk USA's, we'll let USA's take main events. MLB Draft, Paul Skeens, that man himself, skinny boy. I mean, absolutely nobody knew who was going number 1 overall. I mean, nobody. I saw about 10 different mock drafts with 5 different players. I think every single player in the top 5, maybe not Walker. I didn't see Walker, but the four of the top 5 players are in the 5-person draft, right? Max, Paul, Dylan, and Wyatt all got projected as number 1 in that last 24 hours. It was ridiculous. Okay? One had Wyatt Langford, and that seemed to be the consensus. Oh, it's going to be Langford now. One said it was Skeens. One said it was they're going to do Dylan Cruz because Cruz is, asking for too much money, but still pick Cruz. And then, they're going to go Max because Cruz is asking for too much money, and he's most similar. It was just nobody knew. Okay? Nobody knew. Very rare does this happen. But nobody knew who was going number 1 in the MLB Draft. Paul Skeens ends up being the pick. I think it's a really good pick. It's hard to find pitching. It's really hard to find pitching. Really good pitching as well. And Skeens is like a future ace. A future ace. God willing that his arm does not fall off. He looks like a future ace. Okay, he was the best pitcher. He throws 100 plus. And, has an array of pitches that are absolute filth. And he's a tank. And he can hit. So, Skeens. Good pick. Right choice. You couldn't really go wrong, I think, with any of them. Like, even if they'd have picked Langford, it'd have been a good pick. It's just that type of draft up top this year. But, good pick I like the pick for the Pirates. The Nationals go get Cruz. This feels very Bryce Harper-ish without the hype. But, Cruz had about as good of a college career as you can have. So, the Golden Spikes winner goes to the Nationals. Hopefully this, highly regarded outfielder or center fielder sticks. Of course, we've had Harper. We've had Soto. Victor Robel's just completely busted, even though Soto and Harper most definitely hit and became superstars. Robles busted into pieces. What will Dylan Cruz do? Highly regarded. Some had him as the number 1 overall prospect. Him or Skeens was kind of the consensus. So we will see what happens with young Cruz, but he's headed to D.C. Max Clark was the surprise pick at 3. A lot of people thought Wyatt Langford, especially if he was the projected number 1 overall pick going into the night, thought that the 3 college players would go 1, 2, 3, and then the high schoolers would go, in whatever order. But Max goes 3rd to the Tigers. I know they were a little mixed on that, especially with Langford there. But Max Clark is not just your average high school pick. He's Max Clark. To put it bluntly, he is Max Clark. He's a pretty major deal. He's not just like this average high school. Nah, he's Max Clark. All right, put some respect on his name. Y'all got a good pick. I like the pick. Like somebody said, he's Cruz, just 3 years younger. So we will see what happens there. Langford does go to Texas, which of course is a great value pick, getting Langford at 4. So that was a no-brainer. I think the Rangers put that pick in and handed it in the same time that they heard Max come out of Manfred's voice. Came out of Manfred's mouth. I think they put in the pick for Langford, but that was a no-brainer. Great pick up there. He's got a lot of power, and he's just a great player. And, of course, the last of the 5, Walker Jenkins from North Kakalaki here. South Brunswick goes to the Twins. Again, a good pick. Again, those 5 are the headliners of the best. Other picks, Reds get Lounder. Nationals got Cruz and Yo-Yo Morales, which I think is a heist. Yo-Yo Morales, in my opinion, was the best third base prospect in this draft. I think he's a very special player because I saw it live. I saw it with my own eyes, and he was one of the best amateur players I've ever seen in my life. So, I think they got a heist with him and Cruz. I think that's a really, really good job. Godspeed himself, Enrique Bradfield Jr. is going to the Orioles, which is just great for my Yankees. Brock Wilken headed to Milwaukee, the all-time leader in home runs. We've talked about him quite a bit over the past couple weeks when we talked about college baseball. So Wilken headed to the Brewers. But MLB Draft, a little bit more of a crapshoot than some of the other drafts, but still, nonetheless, still interesting to see where these players go. And again, it was a really, really good draft, a lot of talent. So we will see what happens. But let's talk about USA's. Of course, last week was the 4th of July. So let's talk about America. And who's going to represent America at the World Champions? Track and field, we back. 110 men's hurdles. Grant Holloway took the bye, but Cordell Tinch. Okay, I wanted to talk about Cordell Tinch because we did not talk about him at all during the NCAA track season, and we really should have, okay? The things he did at Pittsburgh State was ridiculous. It was long jump, triple, high, and of course his best event here is 110 hurdles. He did everything. I think he even ran the 100 and 200 a little bit. He did everything. Absolutely everything. If there was a Bowerman for Division II, he would have won unanimously. Some even said he should have got nominated for the Bowerman for just period. So, shout out to Tinch. He makes the World Championships team. Nearly wins the national championship, but D-Rob defends his title. Of course, Holloway took the bye, so, he didn't have to do it. Also, shout out to Freddie as well. Men's 200, Arian Knighton is a superstar. We know this, okay? This is known. No surprise, he's now 19, that's crazy. Knighton, he runs a 19.72, no world lead, no season best, but still good enough. Him, Bednarik, and Courtney Lindsay, who's having a hell of a season with Texas Tech, and now here, will be representing us at the World Championships. Fred Curley didn't make the team, neither did Christian Coleman in the 200, but they did make it in the 100, so we will see them there. Noah Lyles also made in the 100. Of course, Noah has the bye in the 200, so he's already there. Women's 200 meter, Gabby Thomas. Oh, my word, bro. Gabby. She is in the form of her life right now. And it's a great decision, I guess, for her to, stop doing the 100 because she has been her. She has been her all 200 season, man. 21.60 for the world lead meet record and a personal best. Gabby was phenomenal. It was her race to lose. All weekend long, it was her race to lose. Sha'carri Richardson is back. Not only did she run a 10.71 to kick off the women's 100 meters, she ended up winning the national championship in that as well. So yeah, I was happy for Kari. She's been through a lot. It looks like she's got that swagger back. She's back to being her, so I'm happy for her. Sha'carri also makes a 200 team, like I said. Kayla White, Aggie. Yes, sir. 336. 336. You love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Kayla White makes a world championship team, narrowly holding off Abby Steiner and TT Terry. That was a stacked 200-meter class. So yeah, any of them going would have been good for us. But that's who gets it done. Rye Benjamin does Rye Benjamin things in the men's 400-meter hurdles. So, yeah, really no surprises there. Women's 400-meter hurdles, Shamira Little gets it done. Anna Cockrell and Delayla Muhammad all make it. Of course, that is without Britton Wilson. It's without Sydney Mclaughlin. Now, where is Sydney Mclaughlin? Of course, we can't have a world championships without Sydney Mclaughlin. Well, how about a world lead meet record and personal best for Sid? No longer a kid. Mclaughlin-Levrone, 48.74. I mean, there's nothing else I can really say about it. There's nothing else I can say about Sydney Mclaughlin that I have not said on this podcast before. She is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. Sid is the GOAT. She's the face of women's track for a reason. And yeah, different event, same Sid, still doing bits. Don't know if she's going to take that world record this year, but, the American record, Sonia Richards-Ross, is in jeopardy. Britton Wilson also. 400 meters, hurdles to 400 meters is the code. It's the code. Simply put, that's the code. Anyways, Britton and Talitha Diggs round up the rest of that team. I like what we got there. Michael Norman had an awful week. Did not make the semifinals in the 100. So I'm thinking he's going to take the bye. He's been going through a lot. He broke up with his coach. So I think he'll take the bye for the 400 meters. We'll see what happens there. Matthew Bowling was a way better. I don't know what JoJo was doing if he's this good of a 400 runner, and we weren't doing this before. So I have a lot of questions there. I'm not going to lie. I have a lot of questions why we weren't already running him there, if that's what he was capable of. Let's see. What else? Cole Hawker makes it. Goose looked really, really good in that 1500. Let's see. Just kind of going through here. Talked about the men's 100. Men's pole vaults. Of course, nobody's touching Mondo in that anyways. Men's decaf. Kyle Garland got 4th, which was really shocking, I think, for a lot of people. Might just need a break. Harrison Williams gets it done. He gets his personal best with an 86.30 to win. Bailey over Zach Zenik. But, yeah, we will see what happens there. Hep, Anna Hall wins. It's just Anna being Hannah. No real surprises there. Y'all know what it is. I don't even got to say too much. She did get a 66.77 for those that wanted to know. But, yeah, high hopes. We're in kind of like a golden age, I think, of American track and just kind of the talent we have with there. So, yeah, high expectations. Loving what I'm seeing from everybody. But, yeah, we will see what happens in World Championships. Now, let's get to it. Round up. Max wanted. I don't need to say his name. All I'm saying is Max, okay? Max, you know what happened. Anyways, Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, and George Russell's home race, the maiden race. It was a really good race. Past, who's winning. So, past that, it was a really good race. The McLaren'S are back, baby. Oh, my goodness. Lando Norris goes and gets 2nd. Oscar Piastri, Rookie of the Year, goes and gets 4th, looking generational. McLaren is back. Welcome to that second tier with Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. McLaren, welcome back. It's been a while. And you know what? When I saw Lando and Oscar were teaming up, I was like, if they can get this right, this can be fun. And it was fun this past weekend. So I'm happy. I'm gassed for McLaren. Because, they were balling out. They were balling out their home race. Lewis, of course, he got 3rd. He had to do what he had to do. He's at Silverstone. Most podiums ever. And, of course, Sha'carri was there. So, Lewis had to put on for his misses. Checo, what is going on? How can you miss this? You have the best car on the grid, and you cannot make a Q3 to save your life. Luckily, you have a rocket ship compared to everybody else, and you can just gain 10 spots every, race and get back into the points to keep you second. But what in the Checo? Make a Q3. Please, just make a Q. I don't even care. You could crash out in the race. I just want to see you make a Q3 again. Because it's bad. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I mean, he's getting the results, and it's hard to cut somebody that's literally second. But you have far and away the best car on the grid, and you cannot qualify. That can't go. That cannot go. The Williams also looking like they might be back. Alexander Albon has been phenomenal all year. Logan Sargent had a great result at Silverstone as well. They showed some pace, so things looking up for them as well. Ferrari, strategy, gaffed it. You know how that goes. Atlanta, NASCAR. William Byron wins his 4th race of the year. Will he be championship favorite? I see the vision. Hendrick Motorsports up good. However, this was a rain-soaked race, so we did not get to finish the full race, so that sucks. But especially since it was a pretty good race before the rain. But Byron wins a rainy Atlanta. Unfortunately, I can't talk too much about it because he got cut off. We have Peach Jam this week. Shout out to Kelsey Plum, by the way. I didn't have this on my notes, but she did drop 40 on the highest percentage ever for a 40-point game. We've had so many high-scoring games. WNBA. Listen, I don't know if it's because the talent is getting better and we're right ahead, 1 year away from that special class. But they've been turning up. They've been turning up, man. So shout out to Kelsey, by the way. Drop 40. Aces again have been class. Gold Cup also has been ridiculous. America. What a great week for America. We won in the quarterfinals in absolute chaos. It was the most CONCACAF game ever. Well, not ever, because USA Mexico probably has a couple of those. But, I mean, it was peak CONCACAF. Terrible goals, own goals, penalties, drama, bad reffing, just everything, okay? All of it, CONCACAF. USA wins, though. We beat Canada to move on to the semis. Could be playing Mexico again, but Jamaica has their A team, so I think they might win it, honestly. Anyways, like I said, Peach Jam was this past weekend, and of course it featured the 2 best prospects on God's green earth now that Wemby is a pro. Of course, that would be 1, Cameron Boozer, and 2, Cooper Flagg, which, depending on which rankings you look at, is interchangeable. Cooper Flagg looked like the best amateur basketball player on God's green earth, probably in the galaxy, this past weekend, as he went on an all-time Peach Jam tear. He was putting up my career statistics. I mean triple-doubles with blocks, 30-point games, 20-rebound game, everything. He did everything. Cooper Flagg did everything while looking the best. There was nothing he could not do. He shot threes from NBA range. He made great passes. He stole the ball. He blocked everybody in sight. I mean, everything. He showed the whole entire bag. I don't know if John Shire missed a single Cooper Flagg game. He was at, not the assistants. We didn't send the assistants. We sent Shire to every single game. He looked like the best basketball prospect on earth. However, it was the Boozer twins that would outlast the Flagg twins. Shout out to Ace because he was also great this past weekend. Unfortunately, that ankle might have messed things up in the final. But yeah, Caden Boozer goes off in the Peach Jam final after Man United actually beat Knight Riders Elite earlier in the week. And yeah, Cam got into foul trouble, didn't have the greatest game. Didn't get a lot of touches though, I would also say. But yeah, the Boozers take out the Flags. It's crazy how the top 2 prospects are twins. And they also have really good twins. So yeah, Boozer, Flagg, beginning of what could be a great rivalry. Not that they hate each other. But yeah, Peach Jam, super exciting. Shouts to the Boozers. But yeah, Boozer and Flagg, this is the new face of basketball. USA Basketball will be back. It was a great week for America. 4th of July, Joey Chestnut wins the hot dog eating contest. Everything is good in the world. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ocho signing off.